Hello, and thank you for joining us for a brief webcast discussion as part of Thomson Reuters Company Week of Discussions within the Future of Work Consortium. Today's presentation will provide a nice follow-on to Tuesday's Professional Networks webinar with David Craig, and will highlight some of the work that we've been doing at Thomson Reuters around building professional communities. First, let me tell you a little bit about our speaker. Matt O'Hara is the Head of Treasury in the Americas for the Sales and Trading Strategic Business Unit, or SBU, in the Markets Division of Thomson Reuters. The Sales and Trading SBU delivers financial information, news, collaboration, and transaction services to support the trading floor activities of buy and sell side customers across global financial markets. Matt joined Thomson Reuters in 2006 as a Senior Vice President, Head of Treasury for the Americas. His primary responsibilities encompass managing the FX and short-term interest rate businesses for Thomson Reuters America, with emphasis on distribution, product development, service, client relationships, proposition competitiveness, and business simplification. Matt relocated from London to the U.S. in 2002 to become Global EFX Product Manager for Bank One out of their head office in Chicago. Following the merger between J.P. Morgan and Bank One, Matt assumed responsibility for North American e-commerce within J.P. Morgan's Currency and Commodity Group. Prior to moving to the U.S., Matt managed European EFX and held several positions in FX sales and trading at the First National Bank of Chicago. Matt, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Dave. Good to be here.
So just to provide some of the background of what we were talking about, if you don't mind, as background to the work you're doing around communities, would you please tell us a bit about the way your core customers work and communicate with each other every day?
Sure, I'd love to. So the treasury business that I'm responsible for is made up of two core components. One would be foreign exchange and one would be short-term interest rates. But what I'm going to talk about today is primarily related to our foreign exchange business. So foreign exchange, just by the nature of its name, is a global business. We serve a global community, a global client base, providing them with products that enable them to facilitate their clients' needs within the global foreign exchange market. The way that our customers communicate with each other is very important, and we can help connect our clients together. So we have a macro community, a global community that operates in 130 different countries. We have different currencies that our different clients are responsible for trading or for managing, whether it's a bank or an institution that is servicing corporate client flows. For instance, you could have a manufacturer that would be based in the U.S. that has components that they need to buy from Europe. Therefore, they have natural foreign exchange exposure. So what we do is we help to facilitate our clients' needs in terms of providing them with workflow solutions. So it would be data, news, pricing, analytics, which enable our clients to make informed decisions. But then we connect them together using our trading platforms or collaboration platforms. So what we do effectively is we will connect communities together and now allowing them to share ideas, trade, and then process the subsequent components of a trade when it comes to settlement. So Reuters, and I'll say Reuters because it wasn't Thomson Reuters at the time, but Reuters introduced the first electronic trading platform to the foreign exchange market or the financial market around about 30 years ago, which is called Thomson Reuters Dealing. The platform, over the course of 30 years, has grown and really become the de facto trading platform for the global foreign exchange market, where we now have 20,000 professional traders in 130 different countries that are trading over our platforms. We've got this global macro community that connects with each other to share trade ideas, information, and to trade with each other.
Oh, that's great background. Thank you. And so you mentioned that we're operating in 130 different countries, and also that the processes in the past had been very manual. When you looked out around the world, did you find, though, that those processes were pretty similar in all the different markets, or did you see a lot of variation by market in terms of their workflows and processes?
There are a lot of similarities, but there are differences. Each country has a different culture. They could have a different financial system. They could have different laws or regulations, the different languages, of course. Within the financial market and the foreign exchange market, the English language is typically the de facto language, but there are differences, and our job is to work with our clients to understand what those nuances are and help them to connect to the global community in a efficient and compliant way. So, one example, if you look at the global business, then there's going to be different requirements. But if you look at, I suppose, a region, say Latin America, a lot of people look at Latin America as one place, but it's not. It's lots of communities that make up Latin America, and lots of countries that make up Latin America. So, people that look at LATAM or Latin America as one place are, pretty foolish, because if you look at those different countries, they have very different rules and regulations. Brazil, for instance, operates on an exchange traded basis. If you look at Chile, well, they have an aggressive agenda to internationalize their domestic sovereign currency. If you look at Argentina, then there are, I suppose you could say, troubles in Argentina at the moment. There's political unrest, and they're very much an introvert country where they're kind of looking at what they should be doing themselves, where other countries such as Brazil and Chile are looking at how they can expand and develop and connect to the global communities. They all have slightly different rules, regulations, objectives as a region, as a community, and what we do is we work with them to understand how we can help to facilitate their business, to whether it's a bank, how we can help them to connect to their clients to provide more value. For instance, if it's a domestic bank in Brazil, say Itaú, for instance, because of the depth, the breadth, the size and the global scale of the Thomson Reuters business, the fact that we're in all of these different countries and we have a global infrastructure going back to what we did 30 years ago, which has now grown to where it is now, we can help to connect clients that are in developing or emerging markets to developed markets, or even to other developing markets in Eastern Europe, in Africa, in Russia, for instance.
Okay. And I know you mentioned that Thomson Reuters dealing has now been around for about 30 years, but what, if any, changes in the last couple of years led you to have this increased focus around community building and collaboration tool building?
Sure. It's a very good question, Dave. So when we look at our business, we historically looked at products, and what we didn't necessarily do very well was look at what our clients need and what our clients need to help them grow their business, to develop their business, to provide more value to their clients. So we have a very diverse global business, and we support a diverse set of clients in different geographies and different client segments, whether it be the largest banks in the world such as JP Morgan, Citi, Goldman Sachs, HSBC. What we did historically was we would provide our salespeople, our client-facing staff, with these products, and they would go out and talk to our clients. And it wasn't necessarily relevant to what our clients are looking for, and we'd give them all of these products and almost be, you make up your mind what you need. Now, some of the clients would make the most of that, but it probably wasn't the most efficient way of looking at our business. And the other thing that we weren't doing very well was looking at the intelligence that we have around our clients or specific communities. So taking feedback from our clients, taking trading behaviors, looking at usage of platforms. So you almost create a profile of different clients or different communities. So what we've done now is we've taken a step back and we've reassessed, and we've looked at our business to say, okay, what we want to do is we want to provide our clients with relevant solutions, using the data that we have, the relationships that we have with our clients, to provide them meaningful propositions to help them grow their business. And one example could be in Latin America. So, we worked with the central bank in Brazil, with the Ministry of Finance in Brazil, to understand what their agenda is. We also talked to many of the major foreign exchange market-making banks or financial institutions in the region. And we shared with them our experiences, what we've done in different regions, like Mexico, for instance, where 10 years ago we helped the Mexican market connect to the global economy or the global marketplace after the Mexican peso became convertible. So we shared experiences with the local market, and then we went away and we developed a workflow proposition, a relevant workflow proposition, and we are about to launch this proposition in the next month or so. And what's different is we're not just going and giving our clients products. There's been an engagement. Our clients are committed. They're supporting us. They understand what value we're going to provide to them. And it's a partnership. And, we're looking at how we can collectively grow with each other, making sure that our strategies, objectives, product development roadmaps are synchronized for the future.
So it sounds like the development of these communities was built largely on customer needs, which you sort of uncovered by going out and understanding customer workflows and things like that. One of the topics that we've been talking about within this Future of Work Consortium has been sort of the impact of globalization and the impact of more readily available collaboration tools and technologies. And these are just some of the factors that we've talked about that are impacting the future world of work and workplace. And as you looked out at your customer base to gather some of this intelligence, did you notice that it seemed like globalization and the increased use of technology are changing the way those customers work and collaborate with each other?
Yes, very much so. The world is a smaller place now. Sometimes it amazes me when I look at my travel schedule and some of the places that we're operating within, and it's more of a virtual world now. So technology has been an enabler. In some ways people would say it's been a disabler because it has become at times difficult to manage. It's become fragmented and maybe costly. So the world is truly a global place now. Technology has enabled international trade, and what it also has enabled is the ability for institutions, corporations in far-flung regions to operate in the global forum. So it's much more of a level playing field now. If you look at the foreign exchange market, if you look back 10, 15, 20 years, you'd have the VIP club of major banks that were the market, but technology has now enabled that VIP club to be somewhat dismantled, and it's much more of an even playing field where you have hedge funds that are leveraging or utilizing the credit of major banks to take advantage of wholesale banking or interbank bank prices. We have examples of banks in emerging markets that are operating on par with some of the major banks. The traditional banks such as JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs that I mentioned earlier. Collaboration is very important, and I think collaboration is a term that some people understand and some don't, so maybe if we just clarify that. Collaboration takes different forms. So if you look at a distinct community, so it could be the foreign exchange spot community, a lot of the market moves on information. So there'll be some breaking news. There could be price information. There could be information about default in a certain country, and that's what impacts the different moves within that currency that the community is focused on and it's trading. So the market really moves on information, and collaboration will be how that information is shared. So is it shared through electronic information desktops that we provide to our clients? Is it shared through trading platforms? Is it shared through chat systems? The market is also very much based on relationships. I think we all recognize that you prefer to do business with people that you have a relationship with and that provide you with very good, best-in-class, excellent client service. And collaboration is a key component of that. And it could be whether you're transacting through an electronic trading platform, it could be whether you're chatting over a collaboration tool such as Reuters messaging. It could be that you're talking on the phone. It could be that you're meeting in person, or whether in times we hold forums where we bring together our community and we share with them some of what we're doing, and we'll create that collaborative environment where our clients can share ideas. And I suppose what's keeping them awake at night sometimes is very interesting, where we have certain clients that on a day-to-day basis are competing with each other, but you bring them together in a forum with each other to talk about the industry, to talk about some of the challenges. We all know what's happened in the financial market recently around credit, around regulatory reform that's looming over us, and it's a problem that we're all faced with. So we come together and we discuss and we lobby and we kind of look at ways that we can collectively and collaboratively move our business forward.
So as you've rolled out these micro-communities, the term you mentioned earlier, what has been the uptake so far from your clients, and do you see any potential challenges with adoption or sustained interest from your customer base?
That's an interesting question, and if you look at our business, we have mature communities that we have been supporting for the last 30 years or so. So the professional trading community, on a macro basis, with around 20,000 different traders, we have almost 100,000 users of our premium information desktop in over 130 countries. In terms of the micro communities, what we have done is we've looked at where we want to pick our fights, I suppose you could see, where we feel there's opportunity, where we feel there's risk, and we've prioritized. So one of the challenges of having a large community is making sure that you maintain it. In order to grow your business, you must retain your current client base. So we look at how we can innovate, how we can provide more value, how we can continue to support and maintain the requirements and needs of our communities. And one of the ways that we can do that is by developing our products, and we're a pioneering, innovating company, so we continue to innovate our products by offering new technologies, new functionality, lowering the total cost of ownership, and that's not by eroding our price point, but providing more value to our clients, and also connecting them to adjacent communities. So I've talked about Latin America, how we can connect our developed community, say in New York or in Chicago or in the US, to Brazil, which is an up-and-coming, bubbling economy where there's a lot of high expectations. I know Thomson Reuters are very excited about the opportunities that are coming out of Brazil. Also Africa. Africa is very interesting. If you look at what's happening in Kenya and Nigeria, again, there's opportunity there. So in answer to your question, we have to look at how do we defend our macro community, our mature and developed communities, and how do we grow new communities? How do we develop them? And some of the examples I've just talked about, I think, talk to that pretty well. And it's connecting them together, because that's where the real value is. Once you know that you've got a tried, tested source that's reliable, and your clients are on the other end of that, you won't want to give it up, because that's the primary channel that your client is expecting and anticipating to collaborate with you over.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, you're also changing the way these clients work, not just what's happening to them from the outside, but it sounds like you're taking a leadership role in changing the way these customers work, both within their own organizations and with each other and through these communities.
That's right, and that's a good point, because I've talked a lot about our clients, but our clients could be the banks, it could be hedge funds, but it's also the internal community that institution may have. So a large bank in New York would have, say, 100 people working within their foreign exchange group, and you've got traders, you've got salespeople, you've got researchers, you've got analysts, you've got support support groups. So one of the ways that you can get a client to adopt a new mechanism of communicating and collaborating is to institute it internally. So if you have a bank such as Citibank, for instance, if you institute a internal collaboration system, whether it be Reuters messaging, whether it be over the internet, for instance, those users will become familiar with the value and merit that provides, and then when you look at how that could be provided to their clients, they're already familiar with how that workflow applies to them and the value they could apply to their clients.
So what then do you think are what do you think is the anticipated long-term impact on Thomson Reuters, particularly with the way we continue to innovate, as you mentioned, but also with the way that we deliver products and services for those customers going forward?
The long-term impact? Well, the long-term impact is that what we've been talking about isn't a project. It hasn't got a start and end date. It's something we must continue to invest in, to prioritize. Any smart business has a strategy, and that strategy will evolve in time, and that will evolve according to changes in the target marketplace, in the client base, whether it be from a competitive standpoint, whether it be from a regulatory reform standpoint. And you have to look at your strategy, you have to evolve it, you have to be nimble and dynamic, and you have to stay ahead of the competition. In many ways, we want to pioneer this marketplace, and the strategy that we have now is based around how we can provide priority communities more value, and that relates back to our product set. So we have to look at, okay, where is there opportunity, where is there risk within our client base, within our communities on a macro and micro basis, and we will then pick our battles, and we will develop our propositions in the most appropriate way, which is going to give us the best return on our investment.
Good. And then the last question I had for you was that I was wondering if you would mind sharing some advice that you might have, or key takeaways, best practices that other businesses who are interested in creating and developing these types of communities within their customers' bases, what are some best practices they could glean from the work that you've done already?
Sure. I think there's a couple of key components. One is understand your client, and I can't emphasize that point enough. Understand what their goals and objectives are, what their challenges are, what keeps them awake at night, how we can provide more value, or how you as an organization can provide more value. Understand the marketplace. Prioritize. Don't try and do too much at once. Clearly communicate what the strategy and what the goals and objectives are throughout the organization, to make sure everyone understands what we're doing and why we're doing it, so we're all running at the same goal. Thomson Reuters is a large, complex organization with lots of groups within it that are all dependent on each other to be successful. So it's really important that we have very clear goals that are realistic and achievable but aggressive. And again, kind of coming back to your clients, communicate what the strategy is with your clients, because there's no point in developing all the best-in-class products from our perspective, and it's not what our clients are looking for. So a collaborative approach to looking at strategies collectively or collaboratively, and making sure that there's synergies in what we want to achieve from a business and what our clients want to achieve.
Great. Well, Matt, thank you very, very much for taking the time to talk with us. We look forward to watching the community building continue to grow and continuing to watch your progress. So thanks very much.